I'm joined by the Finance Minister, Sammy Wilson. Now, we had heard in the early stages of the negotiations that up to 25,000 jobs could have gone. Are you saying that we've managed to offset that disaster?
I don't believe it'll be anywhere near that, and we've done that through a number of measures. First of all, the freeze in public sector pay will save hundreds of jobs. The moratorium in recruitment will mean that we don't have the same number of people coming into the civil service, so we can move people around. We've also put into the budget measures to create 10,000 jobs over the budget period, and all of those things, together with the additional money which we have found for departmental budgets, should help to reduce that considerably.
But that pay freeze will not exist right across the public sector. You have no influence over those jobs that are subject to national agreements.
No, and we don't. But the jobs subject to national agreement, already central government at Westminster has said that there will be a pay freeze on those jobs anyhow. So while we have control over the 17% of public sector jobs where we directly negotiate with trade unions, the rest of them will be covered by national pay freezes.
But jobs will go.
And but as a result of the pay freeze, there should be less jobs go. But you can't take £4 billion out of the budget, even with the extra revenue we've put in, and not have some jobs. The one thing I think is important, Paul, is we've now given people certainty for the next 4 years, because we know what the budget for departments is going to be, we know what the strategy is going to be, and I think that in doing that long-term planning, we can minimise the impact on jobs.
But you've taken the axe to the capital budget.
We have a 40% reduction in the capital budget over the period. We have tried to fill up the gap by, first of all, bringing in some money, extra money from the sale of assets, by switching some money from current to capital spending, and also by taking some money out of public sector organisations who had cash hoards which they weren't using. And those things have helped us to increase the capital budget, so that by the fourth year we'll have £1.5 billion worth of capital spend, and that gives more assurance to the construction industry and the other industries that depend upon capital spending.
Let me press you on the whole area of raising money. £840 million from sales. At this time, in this climate?
Well, the one thing I didn't want in the budget was kind of monopoly figures or fantasy figures, and therefore any money from receipts that have been put in has been rigorously tested. First of all, departments had to identify that the assets were surplus. Secondly, they had to identify that they were saleable, and also what the current value would be, and we've taken fairly conservative values on those. We've also had professionals give us some advice as to what kind of assets would be most saleable to pension funds, for example, and we believe, as much as anyone can be in an uncertain market, that the figures for capital receipts are fairly robust.
Got to ask you one very brief question, and a brief answer, if you would. Is lowering corporation tax now on the back burner?
Well, what we've said is that there are other revenue streams that we're looking at. We'll continue to look at, because we didn't put them into the budget here, and once we know the bill for corporation tax, we can look and see whether we can raise the revenue to pay for that bill.
Sammy Wilson, thank you.